So in this demonstration I'm going to show you how to create a just a basic board zither using Pro Desktop. So we start by creating a rectangle on our base work plane, and that rectangle needs to be constrained or dimensioned with the dimension tool. To 300 millimeters. Now I can select and then double click to edit the dimension. 300 millimeters by 150 millimeters. I'm now ready to create my 3D profile out of my 2D sketch by applying an extrude profile feature. And I can simply drag my little yellow handle up to 75 millimeters, or I can assign 75 millimeters in the dimension box there and click OK. And now we've got ourselves a solid block, a rectangular prism as it were. So what I need to do now is I've just deselected everything out into space. I'm now going to select my solid again by using the select part tool, illuminating the frame of the design. I select the solid, I'm applying a shell solid feature this time, and I think about the thickness of the timber that I'm going to use when I actually make this, and it's going to be 6 millimeters, so I want a 6 millimeter offset, and I simply click OK. Now I didn't get an error, so I need to trust that my solid has been created, and indeed if I hover my mouse just inside the object, I can see the internal walls now emerging. So that's fine, that's worked well. The next part, and by the way, if you get an error there, go up to features here and you can just right click on that shell and you can delete it like that. The shell's been deleted. When you change something, always update the document. So I'm back to my solid block again. So to repeat the shelling process, I select part, I apply a feature which is called shell solid. I want an offset value of 6 millimeters, and I simply click OK and it's done. Next part of the process is to build a sound hole. So I want to select the face, the top face, which is where I want my sound hole. I'm just going to create a work plane now. This is a step that people often forget and they end up sketching again on the base. So if I just start to draw now, I'll actually wreck the whole thing, okay, because I've sketched back down on the base profile. And that's not where I want to do it. So don't do that, I'll just delete that out. Alright, what I need to do is select the top face of my proposed instrument. I need to go to work plane and add a new sketch, and I'm going to name that sketch sound hole. It's really good to use meaningful names, because when you get a few new sketches and so on, things get messy if you haven't named them properly. So there's my sound hole. I can now view onto the work plane. For this exercise, I'm going to keep this really simple. I'm just going to make a round sound hole to 84 millimeters. Okay, so there it is. It's a valid profile. I know it's valid because my shape is shaded. If I have one stray line somewhere on that sketch like that, all of a sudden it's not valid, and I will get an error when I try to extrude it. Now in the next video I've made, I've done it with a complex error, and I've shown how I've unraveled that error basically. Anyway, here we go. So I've now got my valid profile. I want to do a feature, I want to extrude profile. This time I want to subtract material. I don't want to add to it, I want to actually create a hole. Now I need to think about which way this is actually activating. Because I want to subtract a hole or make a hole, I need this function to work inwardly, so or below the work plane. So by clicking on the little green arrow there, I can change the way that it operates, or whether it's above and below the work plane. So you watch what happens in my dialog box. It's now above the work plane, it's now below the work plane. The other one is, do we want it to work inside our shape or outside our shape? If I apply it now, I'm going to lose the whole lot and just have a little round circle suspended in midair. So we want that orange arrow to point inward. Okay. I want a thickness of 6 millimeters because I want to remove 6 millimeters of material, and there you have a sound hole. Okay, as simple as that. So you can watch the next video that shows you a little more complex arrangement and the importance of getting a valid profile. Thanks for watching.